All right, we just showed you how progressives and the elites have rewritten history and have always tried to paint conservatives as big, fat, dummy dum-dums. Fortunately, Time Magazine's super-duper Doppler intellectual Joe Klein, who's much smarter than everybody else watching this program right now combined. I mean, we may have to take a couple of people from space and put them in to match Joe Klein's brain size. Well, that tradition continues today, that you're a dummy and Joe is smarter. Seems like only a few weeks ago when Joe enlightened us and delighted us with his voracious and unbridled wit and intellect, calling all Americans who disagreed with him at Time Magazine stupid. He also pointed out recently that I spew a lot of hateful crap. Wow, that's some highfalutin words. I'll try to look that one up. Crap. So anyway, for those of you without an Ivy League education who also don't have, direct access to a dictionary, what he meant there was he doesn't like what I say. And there's something new. In fact, if you don't mind, I've got to put on my tweed smoking jacket. Here, I've got little people that help me with things like this, I don't let them look directly at me. You shouldn't either. Anyway, Swampland, his blog, it's so good. He points out that fellow Time Magazine genius J. Newton Small, a female correspondent who is clearly smarter than everyone else because she has 3 names. How many do you have? Yes, 2. She apparently took issue with Sarah Palin's writing notes on her hand there for the interview. Joe, however, realizing that without notes, or more accurately, a teleprompter, his hero, Barack Obama, thinks there are 57 U.S. states, and that an asthmatic child should be tested, apparently, for blood alcohol levels with a breathalyzer.
Over the last 15 months, we've traveled to every corner of the United States. I've now been in 57 states. I think 1 left to go.
Everybody knows that it makes no sense that you send a kid to the emergency room for a treatable illness like asthma. They end up taking up a hospital bed. It costs, you gave them treatment early, and they got some treatment and a breathalyzer, or an inhalator, not a breathalyzer. I haven't had much sleep in the last 48 hours, so.
Oh, a breathalyzer, that would be poppycock, and Joe would know that. He had no issue with Sarah on the notes, on her hand or anything. No. Being the brainiac he is from the think tank at Time Magazine, Joe's problem is that everything Palin said was, quote, anti-intellectual drivel. Oh, how it must sicken poor Joe to have to share this time-space continuum with the likes of the little stupid people like Sarah Palin. And you. Oh, it must absolutely nauseate him to have to look at people like that, As Joe Klein pondered the fact that in Alaska, where Palin lives, there isn't even a Harvard club at which one can don a tweed smoking jacket and dine with suitable companions in a riffraff-free environment, chortling aloud between bites of beluga caviar and talk about how imbecilic and racist these Tea Party people are. Oh, you could ponder and chortle. Oh, and continue to assail Sarah Palin in your blog at Swampland. Oh, and you could also write words like opprobrium. Opprobrium. I have no idea. I had to come to the library. I had to look opprobrium up. It's a wonderful word. We should use it more often. Opprobrium, the disgrace or reproach incurred by conduct considered outrageously shameful. Infamy. Aphorism. Aphorism. I had to look that one up, too. Well, aphorism here. Here it is. A terse saying embodying a general truth or astute observation. So with words like that, you know it must be a blistering indictment of Sarah Palin. Oh, but then he was just getting his enormous multisyllabic word train chugging down the tracks right before his engine went off those very tracks. Oh, as he attacked Palin for saying that Obama wasn't so much a commander-in-chief as a law professor at a lectern. Oh, yes. He then accused her of being anti-elitist. Joe said yesterday, a commentator asked if there was any form of populism that I could support. The answer is yes. Yes, yes, my friend. Democracy. He later added, anti-elitism is as American as apple pie, and a good thing, too. In most cases, this is a democracy. The more democratic we have become, the better. Huh. Oh, now, Joe. Joe, oh, I might be able to let one mention slide, but two, I can't. I just can't do it. No, man, I can't do it. No! That must be what they taught you at Penn. Is it, Joe? Is it? If so, you've been abused by that very intellectual Ivy League school you went to. It's what I was telling you last time, Joe. Oh, the last time we talked, do you remember? Your alma mater, Penn. It is truly the trailer park of the Ivy League. I bet the Dartmouth men, I mean, even, what the heck, Idaho State or Montana Tech would even teach you the truth that America is a republic. It's true. Look it up, Joe. A republic, it almost makes you sound like you don't know what you're talking about, Joe. But then again, it also kind of turns your entire nasty little blog entry into anti-intellectual drivel. Oh, that's rich. Oh, that is rich. And so am I.
We are live in California all this week because this state of California, a state that I truly love. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and I've always wanted to live in the state of California. There's no way I could live in California. Well, there's a lot of reasons I couldn't live in California. I don't think they'd have me. But one of the other reasons is you can't afford to do business in California. And it is a microcosm of what is happening in our country. The problems are clear to anyone who wants to look. And so are the solutions, quite frankly. The enemy to our Constitution is the progressive movement. Stop arguing about Republicans and Democrats. It's not about Republicans and Democrats. It's the progressive movement. It was meant to evolve the United States out of a republic. I just showed it to you with Joe Klein. Remember what he said? We're a democracy, and the more democratic we become, the better. No, no, no. Name, Joe Klein, the democracy that has ever succeeded. I could point to none. It has been slow and steady. And just like you don't notice the erosion from the rocks, from the beating surf at the beaches, you don't notice that overnight. You notice it in time. You'll come to the beach one day and you'll say, gee, look how much is no longer there. That's the way it is with the progressive movement and our republic. Brian Kennedy is here. He's the president of the Claremont Institute. Brian, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Glenn.
You have been at the Claremont Institute. You guys have been studying this for like 30 years, right?
Right.
And I have to tell you, I don't know how your head didn't explode for all of these years, because when I figured it out a couple of years ago, I started looking into it, and it's so clear. And the lies and the distortion and the way it has permeated everything in our society is truly terrifying. Is it not?
Absolutely. I mean, you really see that the progressives, they really did see that the Constitution was obsolete. They believed it was obsolete.
They still do.
They were going to make it obsolete. And if you look at California progressives from 100 years ago, Governor Hiram Johnson, but if you look at Woodrow Wilson, Herbert Crowley, John Dewey, you can draw a straight line intellectually from them 100 years ago to Barack Obama today.
Okay. Hiram Johnson, most people, I mean, I don't even know who Hiram Johnson is. He was a governor
He was governor of California back in 1911.
Okay.
He instituted the civil service, which would eventually morph into the public employee unions. He said, as a progressive, He was one of the leading, on the state level, politicians there was. He was eventually the vice presidential nominee of the Progressive Party. He was a founder of the Progressive Party, and he was a Republican. So you're absolutely right. This is not a Republican-Democrat thing. The Republicans were as progressive as the Democrats.
Hang on, hold on just a second. Do we have the Meghan McCain? Do we have that audio? That video? Meghan McCain, I played it on radio today. We have to play it. Meghan McCain came out yesterday on Larry King and said, I'm like this progressive Republican. And nobody, she tried to describe that as somebody who's just liberal on policies. No. It is absolutely, if progressives get their way, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this, if you understand progressivism, it means the end of our Constitution, does it not?
Well, we're living almost in a post-constitutional age today. There is little respect for the Constitution.
I know.
And if you're going to save America, I mean, we at the Claremont Institute believe that free government can be lost.